is particularly meaningful as Nonie is a dear friend and someone who truly deserves this honor. A cute little story. One of the programs that the NEF runs is called Teacher Tributes, where at the holidays and at the end of the school year, parents can make a donation to the NEF in any amount in lieu of, say, buying a teacher a mug. And have students deliver notes from parents and the students with pins or magnets honoring the teacher and honoring the donation. So as we were nearing today, I was like, you know, she's one of those teachers that always gets a lot of teacher tributes. I think I'm going to run a report, which I've never done, to be honest, to see which teacher has received the most amount of money in donations. And I don't think it'll come to anybody's surprise that out of the hundreds and hundreds of teachers, she came in third. Personally and professionally, I thank you. And as most of you here know, with Nonie's love of reading at the forefront, her family launched a campaign to raise money for books for the Bresnahan Library and book vending machine. And I am so thankful and proud to announce that as of this morning, it has raised $8,260. Stamp all of the books with her name on the inside. I would like to welcome Superintendent Sean Gallagher to come up and say a few words. Yes.
Pressure's on. It's the first time I didn't need a step stool. First of all, it's a true honor to be part of this wonderful celebration today and just welcome everyone that is here. We're celebrating someone that has not only shaped the Bresnahan School, but the very heart of Newburyport, and that is Nonie Olson. When I've arrived here in Newburyport several years ago, I met many passionate educators, passionate community members, but I'll never forget the meeting with Nonie. She immediately made me feel welcomed and I belonged here into this community. And then as I was writing these remarks today, I thought about it. It's the same way she makes every student, every parent, and every colleague feel about it through her career. That's why there's so many people here today, because Nonie's touched the lives of all of us. From that first meeting, I could tell Nonie was not someone who just teaches in Newburyport. She lives the spirit of this great school community. She's devoted 33 years to the Newburyport school system, making her one of the longest serving teachers in the district. She was raised here, educated here, and chose to give her life's work back to the very community that nurtured her. That in itself tells you a lot about Nonie's character. She believes in giving back. She lifts others up. She lends a helping hand to those that are less fortunate. If you ever had the privilege to step into Nonie's classroom, you'll know immediately that her class is a special place. There's a genuine feeling of warmth, of energy, and of belonging that radiates through her classroom. Students are greeted with smiles every day. Their ideas are celebrated. Their mistakes are not seen as failures, but as opportunities for students to grow. Nonie has an incredible gift for seeing the potential in every child. She meets each student exactly where they are and helps them reach places they never thought possible. Whether it's the shy student feeling out their voice during a class discussion or the student that's struggling academically, all of her students, regardless of their abilities, discovers the joy of learning in Nonie's class. Nonie Olson creates those moments for her students every single day. Obviously, her lessons emphasize academics, but just as important, she teaches kindness, she teaches empathy, and most of all, she teaches resilience. She builds confidence in her students and helps the children realize who they are and what they're capable of. Many of her former students have gone on to say that Miss Olson didn't just prepare them for the next grade, she prepared them for life, even at such an early age. Her excellence has not gone unnoticed. In 2008, Nonie was honored with the Edwin Mullen Award for Teaching Excellence by her peers for extraordinary teaching skills and her recognition and devotion to all the students and families in Newburyport. But if you ask Nonie, she'll tell you the real reward, the real recognition comes every time one of her students' eyes lights up with understanding and success. Or when a former student will take the time to come back to the Bresnahan School and say, "Thank you, Miss Olson." Beyond her classroom, Nonie's given back to Newburyport schools. She served as vice president of the PTO, acting president of the Swayze Fund, and co-chair of the Nicole Lemieux Scholarship, named after her dear friend. Everything Nonie does, she does with heart, she does with love, and she does with care, always keeping others in mind. An educator like Nonie Olson can never be replaced. Her influence is woven into the very fabric of the Bresnahan School. What we can do is carry forward Nonie's lessons about compassion, about high expectations, and about creating space where every child feels they belong and can be successful. And today, this is what today's all about. Dedicating this classroom, room 355, in Nonie Olson's name, when ensuring that Nonie's spirit of kindness, curiosity, and care will continue to inspire every student and every staff member who walks through those doors. It's more than a name on a plaque. It's a legacy, one built through 33 years of love, laughter, patience, and a belief in children. Nonie, congratulations on this incredible, well-deserved honor. You've given so much to the Newburyport Public Schools, the Bresnahan School, in the city, but most of all to the generations of young people who will carry your influence with them forever. So on behalf of all of us, your colleagues, your students, your friends, thank you. Your legacy will always live here at the Bresnahan School and throughout the great Newburyport school community. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Sean. I would now like to invite her friend and Bresnahan Librarian Renee Ames to come up and speak.
Hi everybody, if you don't know me, I'm Renee Ames. I had the pleasure of teaching with Nonie for many years, almost 20, and now I'm the librarian and she's going off to have a fun life. It is fun? No, but we're going to make it fun for her. It's really impossible to capture the magic that is Nonie Olson, which just looking around here you can see that it's a pretty deep well of magic. Nonie has been quietly and unassumingly working miracles in her classroom for 33 years. 33 years in the same school, at the same grade, and at the same level. Promise I wasn't good, but at the same level of unimaginable excellence. Nonie's the kind of teacher you would clone if you could. She is truly one of the most skilled, caring, and dedicated teachers that anyone could imagine. Every year, that sums up our friendship pretty well. Should I tell them what your job is at faculty meetings? Poke me if my hand goes up, that's your job. Okay, Nonie is she's truly one of the most skilled, caring, and dedicated teachers that anyone could imagine. Every year she created a classroom culture that is equal parts high expectations and pure love. She has an incredible gift of meeting students where they are and for celebrating their uniqueness. And she's had lots of unique celebrations over the last 30 years. Even the most reluctant learners who come into her classroom in September, they leave in June as engaged readers who can also multiply and write and talk happily about school. Nonie's classroom is always humming with activity, always. No matter when you walk in there, there are children working. They're reading, writing, doing poetry, math, science experiments. But most of all, if you walked into her room at any time, there are kids, well, most of the time, the kids are reading. And she is, her dedication to helping every student see themselves as a real reader is absolutely awe-inspiring. Even on Thursday of this week, when she's supposed to be gliding out, she had an interaction with a student that I want to share. He's kind of a fussy reader, and I could recommend 10 books to him, and he tells me no every time. So Nonie came over and started to talk to him about a book that I had recommended before, but he turned it down. And he then took the book and sat in the library, and you could hear him cackling within 5 minutes because he was enjoying himself so much, and exclaimed loudly, I love this book. I'm getting the sequel next week. And she knows him, but she's only known him for 8 weeks, and that's a difference that she made in one child. So Nonie has nurtured many students to become joyful readers, and that is an endless and an invaluable gift that she's given to a couple generations of students and of people in our community. She also puts in a lot of effort to get to know her students. She has these personal journals where the kids, remember the personal journals, guys? Yeah. So the kids write her letters every week in these notebooks, and they tell her all about their family, their lives, their friends, their baseball games, their pets. It's very cute. She writes a personalized note to every single kid every week, taking home a huge tote bag full of notebooks, sitting at your house. I'm sure Paul and Julia and Olivia could tell you that that takes a tremendous amount of time. For years and years and years she did that. For decades, she has created meaningful connections with any child who is fortunate enough to be in her care. But her dedication and care don't stop in the classroom. She shows up for kids, especially the kids who need her. I'll get there. She has attended countless games, recitals, plays. She's made it possible for students in need to take dance lessons, swimming lessons, play soccer. So many children have looked out at some event and seen her, cheering them on. When one student's father passed away, Nonie organized the Bresnahan teachers, a collection from the teachers to support the family at a very difficult time. And the very next year, another student's father tragically passed away, and Nonie advocated for him. So that he didn't have to change schools in the middle of the year, so he could stay in a place where people knew him and loved him. But
she loves me, guys.
I asked my husband, I've been practicing for days. But anyways, but that's just a small glimpse of all that she is as a teacher. She's also a beloved colleague. She has set the tone for the third grade team. And if you know the third grade team, it's a team that is centers around kindness, collaboration, and joy. And it's because she told us that was how our team is working. She has a great sense of humor. She's a wonderful storyteller. She does great impressions, and we're going to miss her at lunchtime doing her impressions. And although Nonie could have taken it easy, or she should have taken it easy in the last 8 weeks, she of course did not. She was continued to be a beacon of excellence and kindness and dedication. She gave 150% to whatever was asked of her in the last 8 weeks, whether it was assisting in the library, supporting a kindergarten classroom, or subbing for colleagues. She also volunteered to organize her colleagues' classroom book bin, which meant taking piles of books home at night. She's giving herself work to do at night, organizing all the books, labeling them, then bringing them back into school the next day, because her colleague has a baby and she understood that that's hard to do when you have a baby. So that is she's just a gift to all of us. She has continued to connect with kids in the library the last 8 weeks in this quiet, magical way. She also recently adopted a student in a nearby community who needed some books, and she bought that child books, made a handmade bookmark and laminated it, and then sent it off to that child. And she does all of this quietly with no fanfare. I'm sure she doesn't want me to be telling you this, but she does it for the pure joy of kindness. She's truly an irreplaceable role model as both a teacher and a human being, and we have been very blessed to be able to work alongside her. To Paul and Julia, Olivia, Arlene, and Karen, thank you for sharing Nonie with us for all these years. We know that there's been lots of long nights where she's up here in her Uggs eating her crackers and doing report cards the day before they're due. We hope that you can now enjoy more time together as a family and have many happy adventures in the years to come. And thank you for allowing the Bresnahan community to honor our dear colleague in such a meaningful way. Nonie, I want to thank you for being the kind of teacher, colleague, and friend, just give me 1 second, that we all aspire to be. You are a gift to all of us, and it is fitting that our school community celebrates you. Through the generosity of your family and friends, Bresnahan students will continue to benefit from your influence for years to come with the purchase of library books in your name. And the dedication of this classroom will be a visual reminder to the rest of us about the level of excellence that we can hope to achieve someday. And as future students pass through this doorway and they ask, why is this plaque here? Who is that lady? Because that's how third graders ask that. I can't wait to tell them about my dear friend, Nonie. Best wishes to you in your next chapter. We love you dearly. We will miss you terribly. And we'll hold you in our hearts always.
Thank you, Renee. I would now like to call up Nonie's husband, Paul.
Can the folks in the back here, can you all hear back there? No? Can you all hear in the back? Yes? Okay, great. Okay. First of all, thank you everybody for this. This is just tremendous. How lucky are we, right, to have Nonie here, but also these kind words from everybody. It's been dynamite. Thank you. I want to just touch on two things, housekeeping, before we start. The first is we're raising money for books. You've heard a lot about reading. You've heard a lot about Nonie's love for reading and what it means for students and children. For those of you who have contributed, thank you so much. We appreciate it. For those of you who haven't, there's still time. You can reach out to Carrie here, and she can help you find out how to do that. I sent out a group text to Nonie's cousins earlier and shared with them that we were raising money for these books, and her cousin Kyle responded, yay Nonie, yay books, which could be a t-shirt, it could be the theme for today, but yeah, yay Nonie, yay books. Second thing is we're here to honor a tremendous teacher, but quick show of hands here, how many folks are teachers or were teachers? Right, this is an underappreciated profession. You all do so much great work, and while we're acknowledging Nonie here, I want to make sure that we acknowledge you all as well. In particular, elementary school teachers, you spend more time with people's kids than they do during the school year, for sure, and we just acknowledge you as teachers. Okay, so I am around here. I'm not Paul. I'm known as not even Mr. Olson. I'm Mrs. Olson's husband. And I don't get to see often what happens inside the classroom. I was shocked today to find out that my wife is a jokester impressionist. It's baffling to me, but like, fantastic. I just lost my train of thought. So I'm going to speak to what I've seen over the last 33 years, because I don't see what happens in the room. Now, I do get a glimpse from time to time. We'll be at Market Basket, we'll be out to dinner, and we'll go around a corner and she'll run into a former student. And what's interesting is her whole demeanor changes. Her posture gets tighter. If she's walking, she walks way faster than she normally does at home. Her voice goes up an octave, and she just locks in and engages. And she engages in these conversations with her ex-students, be it someone that was here a year ago or someone that she met or taught 25 years ago. We were out to dinner once, and a guy walked by. She's like, I think I know him. That's Sean Reardon, because I can see Sean. and he was the manager of the restaurant. And she just said, hey, Mrs. Olson. And immediately his face lit up, and they engaged in it. I think you were there, weren't you, Sean? This deep conversation, just based upon a wonderful relationship from years past. So When I am asked what my wife does, I say she's a school teacher, and oftentimes folks say, great job. You get the summers off, you get a bunch of vacation time, right? You get to go home at 3:30, and that may be true, but that's not true for my wife. Sick time, thankfully, she never took any, and it was sacrilegious if you suggested she take sick time so we could get a cheaper flight to Florida. She would say, under no circumstances are we doing that. Sick time is for when you're sick. And when she got sick, she was able to use all of her sick time. But when I think about her and sick time, what I think about is when she would have to call in to be sick. She would have the flu. She would wake up at 4 a.m. and say, I'm not feeling well. I'd be like, great, call in. And I would wake up and she would not be there because she was up at school. And she was making sure that the lesson plans were done and all the work was ready for her class. When, if she happened to have the flu and was sick for 3 or 4 days, she would go up on a Wednesday night at 6:30 and just start building more plans and checking on the work that was out there because she didn't want her students to fall behind while she was away. I don't know how many of you here know who Summer Nonie is. Hands raised if you know Summer Nonie. Okay. Summer Nonie's interesting because teachers get 10 weeks off in the summer. It's fantastic. Right out the door you go. Nonie, because some would say because she taught to the very end of the year, others would say because she was messy. Her classroom was never ready to go at the end of the school year. She would be up there 3-4 days at the end of the year, but she would be looking in her library to find out what did she need to buy for the next year. She would be getting her room ready. She would be making sure that Cookie and Cookie Jr. were well cared for before she walked out the door, her turtles of 20 years. And so then she would get home 3 or 4 days after the summer started, and she would be light, and she would be breezy, and she would be willing to do anything for anybody. And then you'd get to around, mid-August, and like the tide going out, the wind would change, and you would look and say, is Summer Nonie still here? And she would say no. And she would say no because she was up at Michael's or Walmart because she was buying things for pencil boxes, or she would go to the craft store and get socks and handwrite and glue in the socks because when they went on the wall, what are we reading?
You knock my socks off.
You knock my socks off, right? So when the students walked in to school, they had an experience that was ready to go from day one. So that was her, but the I wouldn't call it a sacrifice, but the choices that she made, I think that were most impactful were on the day-to-day when she would work. So school gets out at 3. She started roving this year, the 2 months that she was working here, and she would walk in the door at 3:15 and be like, wow, this is fantastic. I'm going to Pilates, I'm going for a walk, I'm doing all these great things. But normally she would be up here at 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30. If it happened to be progress report time, she would be up here until 9 at night, and I would call and say, when are you coming home? And she would say, when they kick me out of here. And that was the truth, because when she would do progress reports for students, she would never cut and paste. Never. It was never repeated. It was 20 kids in a class, each deserving of her time, her thought, every semester or every term, this is what's happening with the student, this is where they are, this is where they can improve. Day to day, Renee shared about
I'm over here.
about her journals, and that was something that she spent a lot of time on every day. And those journals created a pathway and a bond, allowed her to earn trust with all of these students. So when she sees someone 25 years later, it's not, oh, that was my 3rd grade teacher. It was someone that person knew well, and was bonded with. And that work allowed her, so most teachers, the uninitiated would think you teach a class, you have a lesson plan. Nonie had plans for every student in the class, every single one of them. So the construct was there around a curriculum, but the work she did was to align with every single student, meeting them where they are, as Sean said, and giving them and inspiring them the confidence. She would always say to me, I'd say, how's your class? And she would say, it's going well, but there's 2 kids yet. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
I don't have it yet. He sits in the corner, he's a little quiet, but I'll figure it out. Because every kid had something that she could lock into. And once she locked in, she was bonded, and that allowed her to build these relationships with all these kids and inspire them and help them grow. And the great superpower that she had is, so that's enough on its own, right? I mean, if a kid's like a plant, she's giving them fertilizer and she's watering them and she's giving them sunshine, all what they need. But there's more, because in that room is where the culture was built. And in that room is where anything was possible to anybody. And the soil in that room was deep and it was nurturing. And so it's not enough for a student to think that on their own they're fine, but when they can engage in a classroom with peers where they can strive to achieve goals that live in the bottom of a marble jar. Right? And they can work together and their peers lift them up and raise them up. And no question is a bad question. It's a room of kindness. It's a room of limitless possibilities. And it's just is a supercharger that makes all of this magic. And that's terrific. So that's what I saw from my point of view. I do, as we sit here, I do want to acknowledge two more things, I suppose, which is why we're here today. We were always going to be here, always. We just thought we would be here 2 or 3 years from now. For those of you that don't know, Nonie was diagnosed with cancer 7 or 8 years ago, and her diagnosis was pretty significant, and her treatment was aggressive. She had surgery, she had radiation, she had enough chemo that could knock over a horse. And those times were hard for her. And the whole time that she was working on going through her treatment, when it was pretty hard, she would say, I need to get back to my class. I need to get back to my class. And it wasn't because that was a milepost in her treatment and in her journey. It was because the soil was fertile in that classroom. And it would nurture her, and it would give her the strength and the love back that she had put in. Right? Paul McCartney said the love you take is equal to the love you make. And she went back into that room and she was able to get the sustenance that she needed that could push her forward. Fast forward to this winter, she was diagnosed again. The treatment was not as difficult. She did not leave her class. She stayed in the class because, again, the classroom gave her strength when she was going through all of this. And then the year ended, and we went into Pam's office to talk about what to do. And I just quick shout out to Pam Keeley, who's a friend of Nonie's from high school, who was the HR director here, and Sean, who was just phenomenal. Administration was great here. And Pam said, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. If you want to go in and teach the class, you can teach the class. If you have to step out in November or December or whenever, that's fine. And Nonie said, no, I can't do that, because if she couldn't go, she didn't want, if she had to leave the class, she didn't want to take the class because she felt that wasn't fair to her students. And so as we were having that conversation, she started crying. And she said to Pam, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. And it wasn't because she was upset about her illness. She was upset because she had more to give, and she wasn't done giving. And there's a lesson in all of this for all of us, for my daughters in particular, for other students, for everyone here. And that is sometimes when you have a hard decision to make, right, the right decision isn't the easy one. And it was made, I think, in the spirit of self-awareness, but also in selflessness. And I think it's something we can all learn from, and we should aspire to that kind of decision making. I was going to end there, but it was a little bit of a downer. Although it's all positive, by the way. So I went into the Wayback Machine, and in 1989, my wife was a senior in college, and the job market was bleak. And the Boston Globe came to her college, and they interviewed her and her roommates. One of whom was Kelly Crowley, who is not here today, but was a roommate of hers. And it was about how difficult the job market is and what are you going to do. And Nonie was interviewed, and I will read. Do you want to read your part, or do you want me to read it now? At the time, she was Nonie Damon. Nonie Damon, 21, of Newburyport, will be looking for teaching jobs in Virginia and Connecticut next spring. She's also considering New Hampshire and Vermont, where the pay is low, but so is the cost of living. She refuses to get caught in the trap that ensnared so many older friends, waitressing and waiting for the perfect teaching job that never comes. I'm a little discouraged, but I feel right now I have to be really opportunistic, said Damon.
Optimistic.
Optimistic, thank you. Hold your part. I know I've worked really hard for this. I know a lot of people graduate and say, I'll only apply here, here, and here. I'm not doing that. I'm not limiting myself. I'm young, and I don't have to pick where I have to settle down. I can go somewhere and teach for a few years. Who's to say I have to live there for the rest of my life? I'm just going to be open to everything because I'm going to be a teacher when I graduate. And no words were truer. And in the end, you became what you always were. That was a teacher.
Not tell me anything he was going to say here. I just want to say, you guys have been standing here for a very long time. It means so much to me that you came to see me get this honor of having this room named after me. Paul and Carrie O'Donnell have kind of been working on this for a while, but they kept it a secret from me, and Paul was thinking about making it a surprise, and about a week ago he told me, and of course I sobbed for like a good hour and a half. So I said, I'm so glad that you did not surprise me, because I had time to just process how amazing of an honor this is. I mean, when I tell you that this room is my happy place, this room is my happy place. And now Marianne Gasparo is in there, and she's told me that having my name on the door is going to give some good vibes for her off to the side. But Paul kind of touched on it for me. I'm still underneath. There's so many things that I really love about being a teacher. A lot of things. Besides being a mom to Olivia and Julia, being a Newburyport Public Schools teacher has been the honor of my life. I have loved every day here, and a lot of it comes from you're in that room together 7 hours a day, 180 days a year. It's a lot of time. And that community, when you build that community where everybody feels cared for, everyone feels supported, everyone feels important, including the teacher, not just the kids, but also a place where everyone feels challenged, everyone's encouraged to take risks. It just becomes a place that you want to come every day. So I always got excited to come, and the kids felt it too. So just to have my name on that room, kind of saying we're honoring you with a space where you built community, just means a lot to me. Thank you everybody for coming. I so appreciate it. If you didn't get to say hi to me, please do say hi to me. I love that so many of my old students came. You guys rock. And thank you so much.